Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Padma Bhushan Awardee, and it's my singular privilege to welcome you to this edition of Inspire by Infosys HALE. This event is also streaming live on YouTube for all our external audience who have joined us today. The Inspire series is conceptualized and launched by Infosys HALE. HALE is the acronym for our flagship health assessment and lifestyle enrichment employee well-being program. The Inspire series aims to help you navigate through your well-being journey by drawing strength from the exemplary lives of those who, through their commitment and grit, have become an inspiration for all of us. Sharing is indeed caring as well. We know today evening will be brimming with abundant highlights. Please feel free to post your special Inspire by HALE moments on social media platforms. Do visit the photo booth area on the Meridian platform as well and take pictures, post them, and tag us with the hashtags InfiHale, Life at Infi, and hashtag InspireHale. Do share your appreciation by responding with the emoticons on your screen. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we now train our focus on our very special guest of the evening. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Devi Shetty, founder and chairman at Narayana Health Group of Hospitals. A very warm welcome, Dr. Shetty, to this Inspire by HALE edition.
Thanks, Padma. Thank you. Thank you.
I must confess, brevity will be put to test today as we make an attempt to highlight the illustrious profile of Dr. Shetty. Probably this is one advice of a doctor that we are not going to take. He wanted us to be very brief, but this is one advice that we will not take this time. A cardiac surgeon of repute and a successful entrepreneur, Dr. Shetty is a highly respected luminary for his ingenious ideas for reforms in the healthcare sector. His visionary leadership to make quality healthcare affordable for all has drawn global recognition. Narayana Health has been an interesting case study for the likes of the Harvard Business School and the Wall Street Journal. Closer home, in association with the government of Karnataka, Dr. Shetty pioneered Yashaswini, a very inexpensive micro health insurance scheme benefiting more than 3.4 million rural poor. Dr. Shetty is the current chairman, Board of Governors, Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, chairman of Healthcare Sector Skill Council, and is a member of Health Insurance Consultative Committee constituted by IRDAI. He has also served as a member, Board of Governors of Medical Council of India, and representative of President of India in the Board of Governors of Indira Gandhi National Open University. A strong advocate of technology for efficient healthcare delivery, Dr. Shetty takes deep interest in creating and developing software products and applications to achieve time and cost efficiency while minimizing clinical errors in healthcare delivery. Dr. Shetty has a US patent registered as inventor. Dr. Shetty is the recipient of several prestigious awards, including the Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, the Economist Innovation Award, Financial Times ArcelorMittal Boldness in Business Award, Nikkei Asia Prize for Economic and Business Innovation. He has also been awarded honorary doctorates from University of Minnesota, IIT Madras, and IIT Kanpur. Dr. Shetty is the founder and chairman at Narayana Health Group of Hospitals. The group is now 45 healthcare facilities strong with close to 6,000 beds. Ladies and gentlemen, the entrepreneur himself, Dr. Devi Shetty. So we invite you to inspire us with your thoughts this evening.
Thanks, Padma, for your extremely glorified introduction of me. Thank you so much. I'm honored. 29th of this month, we are going to celebrate the World Heart Day. I thought I should talk to you briefly about how to take care of your heart. Then I will move on to the other interesting topic. Most of the audience, I guess, are relatively young. And once in a while, when you watch the TV of incidents about a young person, a film actor or a bodybuilder or an athlete, suddenly developing heart attack and they collapse, it becomes a sensation. And the debate goes on for some time. And in the end, like everything else, memory is very short, life goes on. It is very sad when people at the peak of youth, fitness, who are jumping up and down on the treadmill or running a marathon, they collapse. They're not supposed to. At least that's what we think they are not supposed to. Because in India, we believe, we always feel that how fit you feel is equivalent to how fit you are. But interestingly, these two are different. I'll ask you to do one test. I'm sure you're all curious. I want you to go to Google and write FIFA, Federation of International Football Association, or whatever, FIFA. Then you write cardiac arrest. And you get an article published by FIFA that between 2014 and 2018, 676 professional footballers had a cardiac arrest during practice or during the match. I don't think anybody is as fit as the professional footballers. And they're all young people. In just, I think, 4 years, if 676 professional footballers had a cardiac arrest and most of them died, these are the documented ones. We have no idea how many young athletes die, which is not documented. That goes to show that how fit you feel has nothing to do with how fit you are. My advice to all the youngsters, past the age of 30, please check, go for a routine evaluation of your health, mainly routine evaluation of your status of the heart and other vital organs. It doesn't even take 2 hours. Because if I produce the data, you may not like it. 30% of Indians past the age of 18, 30% suffer from high blood pressure. And the same age group in Canada is only 19%. In India, it is 30%. We always ask for blood tests. 11% of Indian adults suffer from hypothyroidism. My entire family is hypothyroid. And only 2% of British have hypothyroidism. And only 4% of Americans have hypothyroidism. So we are vulnerable for all these diseases. It is very, very important that all of us past the age of 30 at least, once a year, go for a detailed health checkup. And that will help you to lead a comfortable life. Now, coming back to the exciting thing about India and the state what we are in, I have a very interesting observation. My observation is that India will become the first country in the world to dissociate healthcare from affluence. India will prove to the world that the wealth of the nation has nothing to do with the quality of healthcare its citizens will enjoy. India will prove to the world that the wealth of the family has nothing to do with the quality of healthcare its citizens will enjoy. And you may think that this may take maybe few decades to happen. I believe that it's going to happen within 5 years. Why I am so optimistic that it's going to happen so fast? I'm optimistic because some of the reforms, some of the policies implemented by the government, especially in reforming the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRDA, will allow large number of health insurance companies of different size and different shapes to come out and create a revolution in healthcare, exactly like the revolution what you have seen in fintech. Because today, the missing link in Indian healthcare is not just about shortage of doctors, nurses, technicians, and the rest. For your information, we produce the largest number of doctors in the world. We have over nearly 110,000 medical seats, which is the largest number anywhere in the world. We have the largest number of nursing schools in the world. We produce the largest number of medical techs in the world. We are the pharmacy of the world. We have everything going for a phenomenal healthcare delivery. But our missing link is our people do not have the money to pay for the healthcare. Now, if you take away health insurance from US, I don't think some of the top politicians of America whose name you read virtually every day can afford to undergo a bypass grafting. So essentially, developed countries manage the healthcare either through taxpayers' money, that's a very small percentage of them, otherwise through the health insurance. Now, unfortunately, the health insurance in India couldn't get into that league mainly because of the structural problem in Indian healthcare. The structural problem is that we have three stakeholders in delivering healthcare. First is the hospital, second one is the health insurance company, and the third one is the patient. Hospitals do not trust the health insurance company. Health insurance company doesn't trust the hospital, and the patient doesn't trust both parties. So we have a situation where there are three stakeholders in the delivery of healthcare. None of them trust each other. But that is going to change. When hospital like ours become health insurance company, all the rules of the game will change. Today, as a heart specialist and as a person running the hospital, more people develop heart attack, it is better for my business. When I become a health insurance company, my interest and the patient's interest will be aligned, because when I'm the health insurance company, I will make sure that people do not develop heart attack, or even if they develop a heart attack, they develop it at a later stage of their life, so I can postpone it, or if possible, prevent it, because that is the only way I can save the money. So when that happens, rules of the game will change. And this is what is going to happen. And also, digital platforms are dramatically going to change everything what we do in healthcare. Most of the consultation with the doctors, at least the first few consultations, will happen online. More than 60-70% of the clinic visits can be replaced by online consultation. that will dramatically change the perception of healthcare experience by the patients. People do not want to visit the hospital or the clinic. If they can have a seamless experience of seeing the doctors online, sitting in their drawing room, the threshold for consulting an expert at an early stage of the disease will significantly increase. When that happens, most of the diseases will get diagnosed at the early stage. And whenever the diseases are diagnosed at the early stage, cure is possible. Even if you cannot cure them, you can give them a meaningful life for a long, long time. Our biggest problem is late presentation. We believe that with the digitization, things are going to be dramatically different. And also the experience of the patient when they visit the clinic or the hospital will change. When you visit the hospital in the near future, you will have reception without receptionist, because whatever you are going to do it with the receptionist, you can do it in your phone by registering, paying online, and you will get a message what time is your appointment is. You go to see the doctor. Doctor would have had all your medical reports in his laptop or a desktop, and he would see, and he knows your entire history, and the experience will be dramatically different. You're not going to narrate the story because the nurse would have taken the history from you well before you visited the doctor. So doctor is going to tell you your history, and if you have any additional information, you can give to the doctor. So all the information is available to the doctor in their laptop or a desktop. And this is going to dramatically change your experience of consulting. So when you go to the hospitals of the future, when I say future, in the next 1 or 2 years, there will not be, at night, the ICU will not have many senior intensivists. There will be intensive care unit without intensivist, because the intensivist will be managing the patient sitting at home. That will dramatically change the outcome, because intensivist at home will cover the ICU only for a few hours, maybe 3 hours or 4 hours. So they haven't lost their sleep whole night and trying to diagnose a problem at 3 o'clock in the morning, deprived of sleep. Because today, the decision about patient care is taken by data. And if this data reaches the doctor, doctor intensivist sitting at home can see all the patient's information. The experience will be dramatically different. We believe that the largest healthcare provider of the world will not be a hospital group, but it will be a software. It is exactly like Uber, largest transport agency, doesn't have its own vehicles, or Airbnb, largest provider of hotel room, doesn't own hotels. So largest healthcare provider will have no beds. It is going to be a software. And this is the kind of a transformation you will see in healthcare. And most of this transformation will happen in India, because we are blessed with extremely skilled doctors, nurses, technicians, and we are blessed with brilliant software engineers who can create amazing products which will transform the way healthcare is delivered in this world in the near future. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shetty. Extremely inspirational. I can tell you that I have reams of notes already taken. It was literally a masterclass in terms of both your vision and, of course, if I can even say, the way you see the transformation happening at not only a country level, but from India to the rest of the world, something that you have been professing and practicing for so many years. Well, we also had, in anticipation of conversation with you, a lot of questions that came to us from our employees. And we've really tried to curate. So I'm going to apologize to those whose questions may not come up. But this afternoon, a couple of them a little on the lighter side, more which are also looking at how your journey has started off. So we start off with the very first question, which is, what inspired you to pursue a career in cardiac surgery, very specifically?
Thanks. Many things happen. I'm the eighth of the ninth children. So when I was growing up, my parents were old and they were going in and out of the hospital. In our eyes as kids, it's only the doctor who can save our parents. So the doctor was virtually like God. So that, I'm sure, had some impact. But most important thing, what would have, retrospectively, I think, when I was in, I think, fifth standard or so, Dr. Christian Bernard did the first heart transplant in Cape Town, South Africa. And my teacher came to our class and announced that kids, today somebody, a doctor in Cape Town, South Africa, removed the heart of a dead man and used that to revive the heart of somebody with a heart problem. And that man woke up and he was very happy waking up with a new heart. So that really kind of made a big impact on my mind about exciting thing about removing somebody's heart and resuscitating somebody else. So I decided to become a heart surgeon. I guess I decided to become a heart surgeon before I decided to become a doctor. So these little things, these things which happens in childhood really inspires you to choose a direction in your life and find a purpose in life.
We can't thank that teacher enough, I think, in retrospective, because definitely the impression that news and that information had on you has saved so many lives always. So obviously the next question, and since it's brimming with all our software engineers, we wanted to know if you would like to share some insights into the role of technology, especially we're hearing so much about generative AI, robotics. Healthcare probably is the biggest consumer of everything that is cutting edge technology. So how do you view this entire onset of technology, especially when it comes to performing surgeries?
Sure. Thanks. Let me start off with a statement that smart software will make smarter diagnosis than the doctors. And within the next, maybe in the near future, maybe in another 3 years, 4 years, there is a possibility that it will become legally mandatory for the doctors to get the second opinion from the software before starting the treatment. It is not because software is smarter than us. A doctor is expected to see at least 20, 30 patients in their clinic. And unlike in the past, today a patient comes with a few thousand data points. There is no way a doctor can decipher all the data in that 5 or 10 minutes time they have with the patient. If the doctor has whole day, doctor can beat any software. But if the doctor has only 5 minutes, smart software is definitely smarter than the doctor to suggest the doctor that we could go in the direction. See, there is always a thought, there is statement, one of the statement which I read a few years ago, that AI is not going to replace the radiologist, but a radiologist who uses the AI will replace the radiologist who doesn't use the AI. These are all going to be empowering tools. I'll just explain to you the power of technology. We have an analytics division which projects the risk score of every patient. So based on the risk score, we can allot the re-allot the nurses and the staff who are going to take care of the patient based on the risk score. I'll give you a few things what we are doing. Our analytics team has developed the analytical model wherein looking at the simple ECG, they can predict the ejection fraction or the power of contraction of the heart, just looking at the ECG. And now they are working on, they are nearly there, of diagnosing the blockage in the coronary artery, that is a heart disease, looking at the ECG. These are unbelievable things. This is truly magical. And it is there, it is happening in our own organization. So I'll give you another example. The nurses in the ward, from morning till evening, go around checking the blood pressure, temperature, pulse rate, respiration. It's a very boring job. And especially at night, when they go to the bedside and try to check the blood pressure at 2 o'clock at night, first thing the patient does is to scream at them. So it's very difficult for them to do this work. Now, you just put a patch which gives continuous ECG, blood pressure, temperature, restlessness, everything with the risk score. So nurse station will have only the patient's name with the risk score. Only when the risk score increases certain level or the flag color changes from green to yellow or orange or red, then only they need to go. That will tremendously reduce the workload on the nurses. More than that, that will virtually eliminate the cardiac arrest happening in the ward. You can virtually eliminate it. These are things which can have a massive, massive impact. And for these technologies, we don't need to depend on US or Europe. All these technologies are developed in our own country, in our own hospitals. So this is why I'm very, very bullish on. We always have we always feel that future is an extension of the past. Future is different. We are a country, we have a dissociated mobile communication from the affluence. I know of countries, first world countries, small countries, where their GDP is almost as high as the US, but half the people living in the country do not have data in their phone because they can't afford it. And in India, beggars have mobile phone data and they watch the same movie as the richest person. So essentially, you see, in the past, when you say a country is rich, there are three categories of people in every country. Rich people who can afford everything, whatever they want. The middle class people struggle to get what the rich people have. And the poor people have no access to it. But these three categories are based on how much it costs to have what they want. Now, what they want, cost goes down by, say, 75%, even the poorest man can afford. Then the class will disappear because you have classed them according to what they can buy, right? Now, if you change the value of what they can buy, then everybody can afford it. So we are not going to wait for every Indian to become rich. Whatever essentialities of life, that is, one is healthcare, one is the roof over the head, food, education. If these four things so-called essentialities of life, its cost comes down by 75% or 50%, or you create some other means of funding for it, like health insurance, the concept of poor and rich goes off, right? So this is what is going to happen in India. When I was a young medical student, everyone told me that, India healthcare is expensive, it will remain expensive, but one day India will become a rich country and everyone can afford. But when I grew up, I looked at the richest country in the world called America, struggling to offer healthcare to the citizens. So if we become a rich country, that doesn't guarantee us from affording healthcare. We have to change the cost of healthcare or the way we can access it. Then everyone will have healthcare. And that is the transformation which is going to happen in India.
No, absolutely, Dr. Shetty. I mean, this entire disruptive way of looking at how can you make healthcare affordable, and most importantly, grassroots healthcare. Literally, as we keep saying, you have created case studies out of it. But staying on this point of healthcare financing, again, you've been the pioneer and worked with the government of Karnataka for Yashaswini in terms of the healthcare financing and the insurance. So what are your thoughts on these kind of innovative approaches when it comes to financing healthcare, especially for those who are economically disadvantaged?
Sure. See, from the day we got the independence, most of the governments we had always talked about universal healthcare for free through taxpayers' money. And we studied the countries which offer universal healthcare for free. There are three common traits with them. All these countries are small countries with a population of 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. Hardly any country other than England was able to offer healthcare to the citizens with a population of more than 50 million. And England is also now struggling. I don't think they can last for a long time. Even the richest country in the world called the United States of America cannot offer healthcare to the citizens through taxpayers' money. It's not possible. So we, with 1.4 billion population, we cannot do that. The second thing, all the countries which are offering universal healthcare for free have a very high tax to GDP ratio of 25, 35, 45%. Our tax to GDP ratio is hardly 11%. Third thing is, all these countries are already spending more than 10% of the GDP on healthcare, whereas we are hardly 1.5% of the GDP. So there is no point in keep saying that everyone can have healthcare with the government's taxpayers' money. That is not going to happen. We need to look at a different model. I'll give you alternative model. Let's assume that we have about 300 million families, 250 to 300 million families. 100 million families can afford healthcare in our country without much problem. Another 100 million families, the middle class or a missing middle, work for the first 100 million families. So if there is a health insurance with a premium of say 10,000 rupees per year for the family, and the premium is 10,000 rupees, 100 million families, if they contribute 10,000 rupees per year, we will collect more than 1 lakh crore rupees, which is more than the central government's healthcare budget for the whole country. So that is the power of health insurance. And we may think that these 100 million families may not be able to afford 10,000 rupees per year, but they're all serving the rich 100 million families. And if they can contribute some money and a little money coming from them, these things can happen. So essentially, if we can cover the missing middle, say 100 million families with health insurance, we would have transformed the Indian healthcare. Because today we always complain that tier 2 cities don't have hospital, they have no doctors, they have no facility. Why? It is because they have no money to pay. The moment people living in tier 2 cities are covered by health insurance, automatically hospital will come up, doctors will go, nurses will be there, machines will be there, everything will be there. Today, that is not happening, not because doctors don't want to go. Doctors know that patients cannot afford to pay. So financial intermediary or a health insurance will have a massive impact on the way healthcare is delivered in India. And that transformation is going to happen very soon.
So then, Dr. Shetty, as an institution in yourself and both what Narayana Health has done, you have been able to somewhere bridge this gap because you do have a lot of people coming to your institution here in Bengaluru. You see a high volume of these cardiac surgeries. Now, clearly, they are coming through multiple, they are able to finance this through insurance or through multiple ways. But if I were to now break away from this finance bit of it and move into the entire quality and volume, because irrespective of how they are funding it, they need that care. And for that care, they're coming to Narayana Health. How are you able to, cater to these large volumes and yet produce the highest quality and give the highest quality of healthcare to these individuals as well?
Thanks. About 14% of the heart surgery done in India is done by us. Now, I agree that a huge volume, comes up with quite a bit of challenges. But we as an institution made a huge investment on technology for the last 20 years. Now, in our hospital, we rarely use paper. All the medical documentation happens online. Every doctor has an application called Adi in their phone. So wherever they are, they can get to see the status of their patient. They can get to see all the images, blood test reports. Essentially, we created a platform in which doctors, nurses, medical technicians, patients, patient family, and the machines to which patient is connected seamlessly. So data moves from the machines to the doctors, doctor to the nurses seamlessly. And that made a huge contribution to the improved outcome. So we believe that the removing the paper and pen from the hospital will make healthcare safer for the patient. It will eliminate medical error. And if you add analytics and all these smart tools to that, you can virtually eliminate medical error. Medical error is a very major issue. And I'll just give you one data. If 200 patients get admitted to an American hospital and spend one night, 1 in 200 dies due to medical error, not medical negligence. Getting admitted to a US hospital is 10 times riskier than skydiving. So it's a very serious problem. And all this happens because the data doesn't move seamlessly from the patient to the machines and machines to the doctors. Because most of the electronic medical records in US, which are built for the desktop and laptop. They're not built on a mobile platform. Whereas in India, our software technologies have created amazing platform wherein all this data is presented to you the way you like to see. Yeah, it's a truly transformative impact we have seen in the last few years compared to the time when we were dependent on pen and paper.
I can say, Dr. Shetty, that without a pun intended, our hearts are really full of both gratitude as well as so much pride, because there's so much that we are doing. And sometimes it takes individuals like you to just bring that little bit of, tried back, saying that it's all happening here, while we know we are doing it in many ways. But then that also brings me to a subsequently an important aspect, and that is medical education, because medical education today is again so critical. And if anything, the pandemic has put the complete focus on both the commitment and the kind of sacrifices that this particular frontline community has been doing for society forever. But again, it took a pandemic for us to tip our hats to this profession. How do you think medical education needs to evolve to meet the changing healthcare landscape? Because we see more techno medical folks as well. So your thoughts on this?
I do not want to land in controversies suggesting changes in the medical education, because I'm already in many controversies. I will give you nursing education. Nursing education is not dramatically different than the doctor's education. The course is for 4 years. Unfortunately, the nursing education happens in classrooms. They are not trained to be nurses by spending adequate number of hours on the bedside taking care of the patient. Because most of the nursing colleges are not part of a hospital. Of course, they visit the hospital to see around, but they're not actively involved with the responsibility, clinical responsibility of patient care. So it is difficult to train a nurse in a classroom or a library, because you cannot train a swimmer in a classroom. If somebody has to learn to swim, they should get into water. I will give you two comparisons. Look at the pilot education training program. Pilot's training program is only for 10 months. In 10 months, they are trained how to fly a pilot, how to fly a plane. After some more training, even with passengers in it. In 10 months. Whereas a nurse spent 4 years in a nursing college, they come out without much skill. Their skill education happens after they graduate as nurses, when they join the hospital. Similarly, the medical education is also not dramatically different. They go to work in the hospital, but not really contributing to the patient care. They go there and look at the patients and learn here and there, but they start learning during the internship. So my suggestion is, has always been, I was involved in the policies of the government in the past, is that the medical education should happen on the bedside. And all the theoretical education can happen online. Today, you go to YouTube, some of the best lecturers in the world teaching some part of medicine. You can listen to the lecture. You don't need to sit in a classroom in a medical college with the edifice costing 600 crore rupees to build the medical education facility. All you need is a busy hospital with competent doctors. Medical education can happen, and I believe it is going to happen in the same direction. It's a matter of time, because if the medical students spend just 6 months in a medical school, understanding the human body, and rest of the time they work in the hospital, initially assisting nurses, then assisting doctors. When they come out at the end of 5 years, they'll be extremely skilled doctors.
Thank you so much for that. Which then brings me to the last two questions, and the second last one really. Your work extends beyond medicine to philanthropy. What advice would you have for individuals or organizations who are looking to make a meaningful impact to society, and therefore probably to themselves as well? Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's like someone once asked me, what is the what is true happiness? For me, true happiness is, imagine a little kid who loves ice cream is made to starve for 1 week, didn't get much food. And at the end of 1 week, this kid is standing on the middle of a huge playground. And this kid is given the most delicious ice cream, which the kid loves. You can imagine the joy and the excitement in the kid's eyes when he's enjoying the ice cream. And you change the scenario, the kid is enjoying the ice cream. Suddenly you cover him with 100 kids who didn't eat for a week, staring at the kid eating the ice cream. The same ice cream which was so tasty will stop being tasty because he's looking at the kids who are starving, looking at him. Change the scenario, you give the same ice cream to all the kids and they're jumping up and down. They're enjoying the ice cream. Then that ice cream would have tasted like never before. So the meaning of happiness, which all of us seek, is of course about getting what we want. But seeing others also having what we have, at least something what we have, is the ultimate happiness. This is what we want, we all should strive for. God has been kind to us. We are not the owners of our wealth. We are only the trustees. The wealth belongs to the society. For whatever reason, it is under our custody. And if we can try to see how others can also be as happy as us, then that's a true meaning of happiness and joy and fulfillment. And this is what I strive to do, and this is what I advise everyone to look at. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Shetty. I can't help but think about the Infosys purpose statement here as well, which is also about amplifying human potential in our own little way, that we can do and make this world, all our stakeholders, much better version of themselves.
Padma, it's a large way. It's not a little way. Infosys has touched millions and millions of people's life.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm sure all my colleagues, all our Infosians are really, really grateful for that statement that you made. And of course, the last question, because we know we can have this conversation with you for such a long time as well. But how does Dr. Devi Shetty unwind? You spoke about happiness, but how do you unwind?
It's very interesting. For me, work is the best part of my life. And I don't have many other interests other than work. And when I go home, I'm in peace with myself, with my family, and we are all happy because from the day one, I decided to have a policy of a relationship with my wife, who have been married now for over 40 years. It's very interesting. After a few years of marriage, most of us always look at the spouse and say that, okay, if only he is like this, or if only she is like this, if only she can change this, if only she can change that, without really thinking that she is also thinking the same thing about me. So I have a very simple policy that I accept if only a husband can tell his wife or a wife can tell the husband, I'm not okay, you're not okay, but that's okay. Then there is no misunderstanding, there is no problem. We all accept each other's shortcomings and make the house a happy place to live. And that is the foundation of everlasting joy, happiness, fulfillment. living in a house with peace, with everyone at ease, everyone having a smiling face without having much of a tension. So this is what I feel is the kind of a, this is what is the reason why I am always happy with myself.
Well, you heard it from Dr. Shetty himself. The master of the heart also gave you some very good mantra for the other heart matters at home as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Shetty, for your generosity in sharing knowledge and inspiration with all of us. Clearly, you will see so many of us walking away with renewed energy and renewed resilience as we look forward to making everything much better in our daily work and in our personal lives as well. Before we wind up, a quick note to all the folks who have been here with us. We'd love to have your feedback. So please look at the screen and look at the link where you can go ahead and share your feedback with us. Once again, as we bring this conversation to a close, you will agree with me, this past hour has left us brimming with awe for the work that you, Dr. Shetty, do and the inspiration that you have given to all of us to emulate your principles. I hope we will do justice to it. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Shetty. May we all be in the pink of health always. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sharing your time with us this evening. Stay tuned for the next edition. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.